Hello, everybody. Welcome. It was just like investigator. So, guys, it's one of those things, I started recording in my office, and oh my God, it's like it's complicated. But there's an office right next to me, and he also happens to like to work in the evening. It's a new person, and it makes me feel very uncomfortable because the topics that I talk about are obviously they're sensitive, right? You could say that. And I don't like the feeling that somebody may be listening in. And if it were during the day where there's other people, but there's some other people here too, but you know what I mean? The person's like right next to you. And this tells me that I may have to go to a new space, like in the same. This is a building with many floors, so I'm sure there are other offices. I just have to kind of move everything. I don't want to do it now, but it was nice, to be in my office. But at the same time, to be fair, it is good to just come to a place and so I can record the video. It is a lot more. It's just more focused, and as you know, I have a focus issue. So it's one of those things, right? So just starting here. But let's do the protection. I had done the protection earlier, but I'm gonna do it again. I like to ask for protection, a beautiful ray of light coming on top of my head as I breathe in. I feel my lungs as I breathe out. I create a circle, I create a circle, I step into it, I feel protected, I feel connected. I'd like to ask that information come wanting from the highest sources, that it create the good and only the good, and so it is. And by the way, I've already recorded the first part of the video, which is about big balls, and you will see that it's in a different environment, right? Just so you know, I'm sure you'll be able to notice right away because it's interesting here. It is private, like the ceiling is closed, and sorry, I'm just like dealing, acknowledging the issue, and it just feels much better because I could talk without feeling like somebody's gonna, listen in. Not that the guy is necessarily doing it on purpose, but it is awkward, right? And so, anyway, just something for me to think about. Not now. I'm not gonna make any decision, but anyway, it is good to. I like coming to the office. It's just, it's just that to record, it's good to be really private. It's a fact, right? And home is good too, but like I said, for me, mentally and physically, I have to be out of the house. It's just not the same. Okay. But here I am. But let me get to then. I'm gonna pause here and go to the next subject. Okay. All right. So guys, I had recorded, but it didn't. Oh no, I had not recorded. I was playing. Didn't realize that it was recorded. So I was talking about the big balls. All right. So let's go back to that. The article. Here is him. Here he is. And again, the idea that he was attacked. And what I talked about, and I didn't record, is that if you look at the picture, there is no real visible laceration or anything like that. It's all these like like here, you look at it, there's like these random smears. And if a person had in fact been attacked by all these 10 people and beaten up badly, he would not look like this. There would be a lot more like real cuts, and there would be more blood splatter. It's not how it looks. So what I picked up was that he was kind of told he was recruited because he's basically a troll, right? And they wanted to do one of these like special fake operations. And he likes to do this for clout. And that's what he did. And it's not convincing, right? And I saw that also he himself is not too happy because it doesn't feel good for him to do this because it's fake. And you can notice also that he's not looking at the camera, which is it's not that he had to be on there, but it's another telltale sign that he can't be trusted, right? And what I was saying earlier was that if in fact he had been attacked, you would know, they would say he was attacked on this or that street, on the cross section. At this time, it's all very vague. And if in fact he had been in an area that had a lot of bars, there would be cameras. So it's just all very fishy and not convincing at all. And I said that I saw him actually being arrested for this because it's a false crime. Remember, there was an actor, I think it's Jesse Smollett, I think his name was. So just because the trash happens to be right now, it doesn't mean that he's trying to gaslight us into believing it. It will last forever. It's not. It's a crime to file a fake police report. So that's what's going to happen to him. I see him being arrested for that, among other things. And not that far away. So, okay, and I don't think they will continue to talk about it. And I don't think it's going to work very well. And it's saying they're resorting to these propaganda tactics, but it's not, I don't see it achieving the goal that he wanted, right? To say, oh, it's a Reichstag fire, right? No. So I just see him eventually going to prison for this. And then fairly near future after trash, of course, the trash government, but that's where we are. Okay. All right. So let me go to the next. So just to answer another question, the question that I looked into Big Balls, right? But we know that what Trump really wanted was to have this, to have the whole like a militarization, to say that there's too much crime. Is he going, just to confirm, is he going to be able to do that? No, say no. I see that he tries, it's all like he pulls this lever, like this string thing, as a kind of like as if to say, oh, I'm pulling, I'm doing something, but it doesn't work. It really does not work. And I see that he tries to pull it so that would kind of like allow him to stay in power, but it doesn't work. It just ends up sort of fading away. So let me just write here. What would it be? It's okay. So the answer, just to like, I don't think you will, is the answer. I don't see it really taking place. And guys, as I talked about it yesterday, when we see what they talk about, and the racism and going backwards, and there was I was listening to Chris has a channel that I listen to, Norland, and he was like, oh, this is the whole story about here. So Trump discussing farmers no longer being able to hire immigrants. He said inner city people don't want to do the work. But the way, I'm not going to play it for you guys because it's very upsetting, to be honest. It's very much, it's very upsetting, this whole thing, when you listen to him say this. Clearly, he in their like deranged minds, they think that they're just going to get people of color to just do the farm work, like just people with a different color. This is the racism is so overt, and it is like, I mean, we know that about him, but this is the agenda. It's very clearly the agenda. And I'm going to say, this is also when people say, oh, Kamala's going to be the governor. That's, to me, a form of, it's a more mild version of this, but that's what they're saying. It's like, oh, she doesn't need to be president. She could just be governor, AG. And I want all the people that say this to get demoted. Go to your HR and say, I would love to be demoted because I applied for this job. I got this job, but it's not for me. I could just be the whatever, 5 steps down. Okay. But I'll be happy, right? I'm sure. And it's so like weird. It's like human nature. This is, I think, what racism is about in a way. It's like human nature is ignored. People are perceived as if they have no agency and no will of their own, right? And that's kind of like similar, I feel like, right? I mean, this is the core of the situation, right? Is to say that, oh, this is if they got what they want, that's what they're going to create, a society where the white people are, it's like they get all the good jobs, even when they're highly unqualified, which is a lot of the times, to be honest, right? And white men, right? Women don't work. I think in their minds is this: only white men work in the high paying jobs. Women stay home and become mothers only. And the people of color do the hardest work with the lowest pay, if they're paid. Really, I think they would have liked to bring slavery back. That's what they want. But that's probably to put all the people of color in different degrees, right? But that's what it is. Okay, and it's interesting, guys. I'm getting a message from Spirit saying, "Hi, Rosie, we know it's hard for you because what do I have something here? No, guys, I had the hard boiled egg. I got really scared about my sugar, to be honest, lately. I'm worried about my hormones, that time of the life cycle when the hormones change. And so it's interesting, so I'm really trying to cut the sugar, not even for vanity issues, but for health. Why did I say what was that? Okay, go back to the topic. So as I was saying, Spirit was telling me this, Rosie, I know for you this is a difficult subject. You get kind of emotional and worked up about it, but it's great that you say it. You have to say it, because as you say it, you dispel the power that it may have. Does it make sense? Because the outrage of it, it's like, it's so shocking when it's shocking and not, because we know this is not like anybody's shocked about Trump being racist. But when you put all these people together and the whole like fake attack on this guy, the big balls and all that, that's their goal. That's what and they're so organized about it, and they're really focused on it. And there's all these people from South Africa involved in making this happen. But and this is what it is the Confederates back. They want to attack us. They want to blame us for things, right? And it is what it is. But the thing is, again, Spirit tells me again here, don't fall for it. Don't let them think, because it's mostly a mind game and a faith game, that they want us to believe that doesn't make sense. By asserting these things like, blah, 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 they have successfully, you could say, they've gotten a lot of things by making grand proclamations. Right? So, but at the same time, it doesn't work. Doesn't make sense. You have to see it, saying, as you say it, Rosie, you say how ridiculous it is. You reassert that we are in an era of progress, that this is only temporary, and this is a madness, a deviation of the natural order, and they will leave, because this is not what we're meant. This is not what the timeline is meant to be. Okay, so it is. It's saying it's difficult to be living in these times because we feel things very deeply, but at the same time, we have to really assert the things we want, and I know people that watch me. It's funny. I was just going back to the thing with Kamala. They said, "Oh, well, Rosie, I deleted all, and it's not. This is not a channel to make these assertions." I know that you have all the channels of all the other people who keep saying these things, not me. So okay, and and I'm going to continue to say that's a very racist thing to say, because I have never heard anybody say anything like that about a man. The one who would have said, "Oh, President Obama would have been a great governor," or right? He was elected president. People wanted him to be president. Or, I'm saying Dr. Zuma could be president. Clinton would have been a great mayor. Or it's something that does not occur to people when the matter is man, right? But it's very easy. I find it really bizarre, and I'm going to keep repeating myself, just because it's important that people get it. That it's still even though we're living in an era of progress, there's still, even among the so-called progressive people, this idea that it's okay to just diminish a woman who won, but you're not going to win. Just remember that. So anyway, so this, I have to say it, and because it gives me power, and my voice matters. And this is something I think I've been grappling with in the last couple of weeks. Really, I think I've been working on the other different things related to the, like, a whistleblower related situations. And it's interesting because sometimes you feel like, oh my God, I'm rocking the boat too much. But no, what I'm doing is like I'm exercising the power of my voice. And it's a little uncomfortable because a lot of times we're not raised to do that. But you get used to it because you have to remember those people do not care about us at all. I know how they feel about us. So get used to making other people feel uncomfortable. Even the people that come to this channel and say that, oh, Kamala is a governor or whatever. What is it? Oh, she'll be happy as an AG. No, right? So it's the same. Like, you have to fight back for what you see and for what you believe in, because it's not okay. It's not okay. All right. So that was my monologue. Okay. All right. So I have a question. Now, since I'm talking about this, how does America move to an era where there's less racism? Okay. You know what? You know what? Maybe this is less racism, because I still think, honestly, the fact that people feel comfortable coming to my channel say, "Oh, Kamala should be happy," to me, that's still racist. It's less racist, but it's still racist. So, this makes sense. I don't want that. I want a society where people have to deal with it, and so does it make sense? It's like there's less racism, where there's no more white supremacy. Like, right, this is the Trump thing. No more confederate. Let's call it what it is: confederate values. Okay. Okay. And it just reminds me of the city in Brazil. I don't know if you're familiar with. It's called Americana, and I was shocked to hear this, is that the Portuguese emperor was very pro-slavery, and when slavery became illegal in the US, he invited these people from the South to come live in Brazil because they could have slaves. Can you believe it? It's very nice. So, right, like, how can we move from this? Can we move from this? How does it change? Okay, because all Trump is doing is moving to the past, creating, like, abiding by the values of the Confederacy. Okay, so how does America move to an era where there's no more Confederate values? See, jail, because it shows me Trump being jailed, all these people going to jail because they're using this as a means to gain power, and I'm sorry, gain power, and to have, like, corrupt schemes to steal money from people. So that's what it shows. It's saying it is not an issue of ideology, which is interesting. It's an issue of crime. It just so happens that all these racist people are criminals. These awful people are criminals, and when you put them in jail, it goes back to what it really is: the fact that they're using all of this as an excuse to commit crimes. And of course, they want to oppress us as a means to keep to saying what they really want is to continue to commit crimes. That's what it is. It's not. It's saying it may be the way that we may see it as racism, but it's essentially about crime. That if they can say they can take out the crime and transfer it, doesn't make sense. It's a bit like the narcissism, right? It's like the darkness that you can process. You project it onto others that are innocent so that you can carry on doing the thing that you're doing, and everything becomes the fault of the other person, the weaker people, right? The weaker meaning the minorities, the people who have less power, who structurally have less power. That's what they want, the freedom to commit crimes. So that's a really interesting answer. Okay. And I see, wow, I see an image of Kamala's mother coming here. It shows me an image of Kamala crowned. So very good. Very interesting, guys. So, wow. Okay. So she's saying you hold her image. Okay. Remember that she won and she's crowned. And even if you don't see it quite yet, see it coming out, see it saying, hold on to your faith and to the power that you have and to your voice. And don't let the conversation that this trash person is bringing on to the world. Don't believe it. You don't have to believe it because it's not true. So they're pushing, we're saying what they're pushing on what we're living is a lie. And soon it will be masked. Okay, so, all right, okay. So this, let me just pause here and then go to other subjects. So something else here is that Trump, it's like another form of racism, right? He's calling on the Intel, the company chief, to resign. Now he's Asian. He's of, I think, Chinese background. And you may not know this, guys, but there are very few Asians represented as CEOs relative to their contributions in technology, for example. It's very rare. It shouldn't be, I think personally, it shouldn't be so rare because there's a lot of tech workers that happen to be Asian, right? But why so few CEOs, right? So he happens to be Asian and CEO, and I think, okay, let's see here. It's just so gross, honestly, but we'll have to let's just show it, let's talk about it. Because it's like, first of all, what does he know? It's like, here it is. President alleges that semiconductor industry veteran Lip-Bu Tan is highly conflicted. And it's just like gross, so gross. Here it is. The post did not detail Tan's alleged conflicts of interest, but it came after a letter from Tom Cotton, the Republican head of the Senate Intelligence Committee, to Intel's board chair, expressing concern about the security and integrity of Intel's operations and Tan's ties to China. It also came one day after Trump met NVIDIA chief executive Jensen Huang in the White House. So, okay, it's, you guys know that China has been doing a lot of chip manufacturing. I don't know the details, all the details, but the ones that they are concerned about are not Intel chips. It's the NVIDIA, right? Because those are the ones that are used for AI. But the fact that, like, I find it just disgusting, really, because what does he know? And it's, to me, it's just like, I mean, it's just disgusting. And I understand that we're dealing with a competitive situation with China, but I have nothing against China, to be honest with you. It's like, why so many damn Russians? Okay, that's what I have a problem with. It's like, I find it just gross, so much of this. So let's see what's going to happen here and why. It's like, isn't that interesting? Why doesn't he say that about tech companies? It just happens. This is the first time I think I've seen him say this. Why? Because it's an Asian man, I think, right? He may have a Chinese background, I don't know, but who is he to say this? Okay. And when you think, oh, look, and Intel shares fell 3.1%. So he's moving markets with his BS. Okay. So, and he's one of the, he is not the CEO that, so Intel is not doing very well right now. There was a lot of problems within their, basically in their market. And this guy was hired to fix it, like to kind of hope that, to fix it, meaning the market, it's complicated, but to do a turnaround, right? And like, there he is attacking, and it's an American company, right? And it just feels like the guy is out to destroy America, American manufacturing, all kinds of things. Okay. So let's see here. Wow, wow. Yeah, it's interesting. So I'm getting something very interesting here. Let me actually change here the title. Okay. 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 So who comes to me now? It's interesting. I was not asking for, really, I wasn't, I was just talking. And then suddenly I see the image of Robert Noyce. Now, Robert Noyce was the founder of Intel. And it was Mom's. And yes, it's saying it's me, Rosie. And he's like, so it's a long story. So Intel, it's interesting. How do we get started with this subject? It's such a long history, but Silicon Valley started, this is like, I wrote this in the letter to someone, said Silicon Valley started when 8 engineers left said Noyce, no, William, let me just get his name. I'll be right back, okay? So Silicon Valley used to be just farms, but it truly started when 8 scientists left a company that was called Shockley Semiconductor. And no, Shockley Labs, I'm sorry, Shockley. Yes, it was Shockley Semiconductor Laboratory, and started their own company. And the company they started was called Fairchild Semiconductor. And that gave the rise to Silicon Valley, because that's when venture capitalists that did not, pretty much didn't exist before, started funding scientists. And several of the people that were the founders of Fairchild Semiconductor went on to found Intel. Like, it was most interesting. And one of them was Robert Noyce. And Robert Noyce was a very gifted scientist, but he was also very charismatic. He was a great leader, basically. And at the time, the semiconductor industry, the semiconductor revolutionized a lot. And basically they invented the transistor, right? That was the whole, and the transistor changed chips, right? They changed the ones with the green thingies, that when you put things together to make things move. It changed a lot. It enabled electricity to be transmitted very quickly without the, right. It's complicated to explain the details, but that's the bottom line. And that was the beginning of Silicon Valley. And that's why Intel is an important company, because it's one of the most important companies because of this, because it created Silicon Valley. You could say, well, actually, Fairchild Semiconductor did, but you understand, this is like the royalty of Silicon Valley, of the technology industry in this country. And now comes trash, or sort of trashing Intel. And here's Robert Noyce. Actually, let me show you guys. It's so interesting. One day I'll tell you about my other interest in the history of technology. It's so weird. Like, how can I have a person of many interests? But let me show you here. The Traitorous 8. So here's the Traders. Oh, do you see them? Oh no, hold on, stop. Okay, share. The Traitorous 8. Okay, so here it is. Here they are. Hold on a second. Okay, integrated circuit, that's right. 1959, Robert Noyce or Fairchild Semiconductor. So yeah, Gordon Moore. So Gordon Moore, guys, I know he didn't sign up for this. class. Welcome to Rose's History of Technology 101 or class or something else. But this is Gordon Moore, very important scientist. And here is Eugene Klein became, is that he became a VC? Yeah, that's right. Robert Noyce, there he is. Look at how handsome he was. Robert Noyce. So that's him. That's who is here to talk to us. And this is an integrated circuit. You can see the picture of it, right? So there he is. Look, he's very cute. And that's a Gordon Moore. There's something called Moore's Law, and that's him. The Moore's Law is about the idea that as time passes, the cost of computing diminishes dramatically. But let's go back to today because I get my trip. So we're here talking about Robert Noyce, okay? And let me actually open his picture here. Okay, he's the founder of Intel. Guys, I know it's fascinating, really, sometimes, like when you talk to people like that I love it. It's so unexpected, you know. Hello, oh, hello, Bob. Hello, Bob. Hello, Rosie. He's like, yeah. He's like, I know we say a lot of harsh things to people because I'm involved, you know, guys. You know this. I am doing some things. Okay, I'm doing some technology things. Long story related to the things that I'm doing. Also, long story. But I care about them. I really like the energy of the traitorous eights. And Robert Noyce, of course, he is crying about what Trump did to Intel. No, okay, Rosie, he's saying, come back to me when you want to talk about what you're doing. I'll give you some tips. I know you're a very hard-headed girl, hard-headed woman with a big mouth. I know, but you get things done. Interesting. He shows me that my mouth has the effect of like stone, like it cuts through stone. So that's why you have to use it. It's a tool. It's a weapon. It gets things done. It gets to the truth. And he was talking about my other thing that I'm doing on the side, right? But I think he's saying to everybody, your words have power. Don't ever forget that. Okay, so and I see he's so Mr. Noyce, please come to me and tell me what's going on. It's a very sad situation, Rosie. He wants to weaken American manufacturing. That's right. But he keeps saying that he's like people fall for it, I guess. He wants to crash the American economy. That's right. That's right. And but why is he go? It's saying it's like that's what you said, Rosie. It's racism, but it's also an attack on American companies. And I see that he shows me that he wants Russia to be the leader. I don't know, Rosie. No, it's exactly what it is. Anybody with two brain cells knows that what he's doing is going to drive away American manufacturing. And what he's doing is that's right. He's not just racist, but he's disrespecting the companies. He's doing things that will only harm these companies. Okay. So what's going to happen to the current CEO? He's upset. He doesn't know what to do. He's very afraid. And culturally, he's actually quite, he's not the type to be rebellious. He's built a career over a long time. It's just the technology is going through a massive transition, but with a different president, it's saying we wouldn't have let a lot of these corrupt venture capitalists that are friends with the Russians do what they're doing to our technology industry. It's saying he shows me there's going to be a shakeup, like a crash, because a lot of things are there is an AI bubble in the public markets, yes. And then a lot of people will be arrested because they're betraying the country, he's saying. But after that, then we're going to have an honest presidency. And he shows me Kamala, yes. And new people, new blood, and people who are thinking in interesting ways. Because once you arrest those people who are in business with Trump, a lot of venture capitalists are in business with Trump because they're pumping things that are not real. They're overvaluing things so that only they can get the money, right? And so he's saying that that it will flourish. So please, Mr. Noyce, tell me now just a summary. So that's right. He's saying Trump. I see Trump. He shows me Trump kicking, but being handcuffed and kicking. He's gonna go down kicking. And then there will be investigations and arrests of all the people that a lot of people he worked with, and a lot of those technology people that are betraying the country. There will be a crash of the AI stocks because they're overvalued. And then there's going to be some doubt, let's say doubt, uncertainty. And then there will be a new flourishing where it's saying the problem is that those AI people, they're committed with Trump to this ideology of oppression, right? Where like kind of like going back, there's going to be the class of uh, serfs, and there's going to be the class of people who are, dictating how the world's going to work. That's our fantasy, but that's not what's going to happen. We're going to have a different society. It's not what they're telling us. So he shows me that Intel is gonna survive this. They're gonna go through a complete refurbishing. That the CEO is not. It's like I don't think he's gonna leave, but he's not gonna stay there for too long. He's gonna stay beyond Trump, longer than Trump will as a president, and then they're gonna make some changes, and there's gonna be a lot of connection to the saying that there's gonna be genuine development. Because what Trump is doing, he's trying to move the clock backwards, but it's not going to go backwards. And it's saying a lot of people will fight for America to return to the era of true innovation and less BS. Okay. So that is very interesting. So interesting. Wow. Okay. Wow. Oh, oops. Okay. Interesting. Over there, I'm like, wow, amazing in a good way. Okay. So, all right. So thank you, Roberts. Okay, and I'll be here. I'll be here talking about this. Okay. So thank you. It was great. It was actually really interesting, Mr. Noyce. And he said, "Come back, Rosie." He has a really pleasant voice. Look at top, Rosie. Don't be nervous. So it's okay. You're saying new things. Sometimes people are scared when you use a, you were so pretty rude. You know that, right? And he's saying it's gonna be okay. And you know who's here, guys? I bet you know who's here. Was it James? I think it's James. His name was, right? Remember the soldier? He's here. He's around here, hanging out. I thought he was gonna go to the light. He said, "No, just want to say hi, Rosie. Over there in the office, you have a lot of things, a lot of crystals, a lot of things. But over here, I can talk to you." So, all right. So let me pause here, and I'll be right back. So just before I go tonight, I just want to, because James is here, he wants to tell me something. Show me a picture. Picture of the Constitution. What else? What else? Picture what you see a picture. He shows me like the plate when you like kind of like a Polaroid like method, that the thing you think about, think of all the values and the things that you care about in this country, describe it each person and fight for it. It's saying each person is now a soldier in this war of values. Remember that you're not powerless. No, you can never accept what they say. You just keep playing in your head the America that you know. When you feel like you're angry at what trash is doing, and his trash, it makes you angry because he's doing exactly this. He's attempting to destroy American values. It's a process that he's been engaged in with others. He's not the only one, as we know, and but it's not going to work. Yeah, to say he had to come out. It's like the same, as painful as it is. It was a dark past that we had to confront, and they're bringing it back from those Confederate days. And it's saying this is the time when you finally get to address it. He's comparing it to a family that has a dark history of like incest or abuse, and people have a hard time, like it's awful, but it has to be looked at in order for healing to happen. And that's what's happening literally. Okay, so it's saying feed yourselves spiritually, go inwards, and think of all the values you care about, because this is the time to strengthen those values, and you can strengthen those values through faith. Okay. But I have to go now, guys. I'm gonna go, and I'll continue the model with unexpected conversation today. Okay. All right. Okay. Bye, guys. See you tomorrow. Bye.